Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2Real2. My name is Michael E. Collin II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame. Learn to pronounce foreign language words correctly when you're doing a TV show that's easily accessible when you just read the dictionary or you listen to how someone says a word and then you repeat that word on film in Carta.
That's a very weird name, man.
I know.
Yeah.
That one cost me about $1,000 right there.
Yeah, so that reminds me, folks. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the show, share it with your friends, check out our TeePublic, also our Patreon, it'll help us out. And then, honestly, all of our budget is just going to Sesame changing his name every week.
Yeah, pretty much. So
I mean, it's a good cause, though. You could donate to some charity or something, or you can donate. Joking.
Do it to us for me to change my name. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty much keeping the name change business afloat just with me doing it,
Yeah, they started a whole there's a whole department just called the Sesame department.
Yeah.
And goes down there and they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And they don't know what to call him because he changes his name so much.
The Sesame department needs some seed money to help get it. Sesame seed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see where you're going with that. Yep.
You seed where I'm going. Yeah.
It's like putting something on top of a bun. It's right in my face, man. Anyways, the whole thing. Okay, so today on the show, because we're venturing around the world here because we're not currently covering many American productions due to the writer's strike and the actor's strike. Be sure to check out our show notes. There's a way to donate to help out people that are involved in the industries that aren't able to afford groceries or rent or things of that nature too. So that's a very important charity to donate to. Almost as important as Sesame changing his name every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why as important, but almost up to
Yes. Anywho, today on the show we're just we're covering a random episode of the long-running British sitcom called Terry and June. Little bit of history behind this show. That starred Terry Scott and June Whitfield as the titular Terry and June. The show came about after the cancellation of a show called Happy Ever After, which starred Terry and June both as characters named Terry and June who were married and living in a suburb. Basically, so Terry Scott and June Whitfield began their television partnership in Scott On, which was a variety show that Terry Scott did. On May 7th of 1974, a comedy playhouse pilot called Happy Ever After aired on BBC One, with Scott and Whitfield playing Terry and June Fletcher, a middle-class couple whose grown-up children have left home. This was commissioned into a series of the same name and 5 series, as they call them in Great Britain, instead of seasons, and 2 Christmas specials were broadcast, ending on the 25th of April, 1979. John T. Chapman, one of the original writers, said that the program had run out of ideas and had to come to an end. BBC Comedy, however, were unwilling to end a popular show, and so brought in fresh new writers. Legal complications came into play, and that meant that the setting had to change. And so on October 24th of 1979, so just a few months later, Terry and June was born. Basically, they played the same characters. However, some other characters of the show were dropped. And their last name was changed from, what was that? What did I just say? Fletcher?
Yeah, I think so.
To Medford. But they were basically playing the same characters, just different setting, like they were in a different suburban town. And
yeah,
about it. Yeah, but it was like basically the comic, duo of these two, and they were the center of the humor of the show. So
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, the only thing I can think about, like in American television history about that, is like the stars of the Cosby Show later on went to being Cosby as husband and wife, but they were completely different characters, though.
Right.
And it was a few years later and stuff. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anywho.
Okay.
This episode that we are covering is from Series 8, Episode 3. It aired on September 21st, 1985, and was called One Arabian Night.
As you can guess, there's probably a lot of racism in this episode.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see it. Oh, wait, no. So it's it was directed by Martin Shardlow and written by Colin Bostwick Smith. One of the few episodes not written by the main creator of the show. So but anyways, we have a guest, but we have co-stars of a character named Sir Dennis Hodge, played by Reginald Marsh, and there's the main guest star, black actor Derek Griffiths, as Prince Abdul Aziz. He was a British, I looked him up. He is he was known primarily as like a children's television host in England.
Huh.
Yeah, he's still alive. He's 77. Yeah, he basically did like television shows where they would show like cartoons and he would introduce them and stuff. He also originated the role of Lumiere in the West End production of Disney's Beauty and the Beast stage show. So, yeah. Pretty, good actor from what this is rating here. So, yeah. Yes. So, anyways, this episode was very interesting.
It was.
Informative. Yes. So, what was your initial thoughts here after watching it first?
Every time I watch something British, I always feel like a little bit sophisticated. So I kind of had that feeling afterwards. Like
even like when you watch Benny Hill?
Well, no, no, I was never much of a Benny Hill. Well, I wasn't a Hiller, or a Benny, or I don't know what you call it.
A Benite.
A Bennyist or a Hillist.
Yeah. That usually when that came on at night, I got upset because like I only had like 3 channels on the TV because we didn't have cable, and sometimes I would come on late at night and I would be upset because like usually whatever was on before it was better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of humor. And like they would play on Comedy Central sometimes, and I don't know, not my thing. But I don't know, it was decent. It was kind of funny. I might go back and check out some, because I think on YouTube, I think they have a lot of
there's a lot of the episodes of this show.
So I might check it out and see how it is.
I mean, I will tell you that Terry and June both are great comic actors.
Yeah,
but kind of remind me of like a I don't know, like a little bit older but like and British version of like King of Queens or something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was funny. It took a few minutes to kind of get going, I thought, but after about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, I think the episode kind of got into its stride, and it was I enjoyed it. So
yeah. Okay, so yeah. Besides all the racism and bigotry and stuff like that, it was a decent episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of peppered throughout.
Kind of more than peppered, more like more like slathered on like jam on your toast that you're having with your English tea.
Yeah, your English breakfast. Yeah. Say what you want about British food, by the way. And yes, I know there's like this meme going around where British food is terrible, and yeah, there is some stuff that's pretty gross, but like an English breakfast is really good. I mean, you got some of those fried potatoes, you got some bacon, some sausage, you got some toast. I mean, come on, like, how is that a bad thing? I mean,
I mean, it's probably more filling than my than the bowl of Count Chocula I had this morning for breakfast.
Yeah, it's got more protein. I mean, I'm gotta make myself hungry now. I might need to make some.
Yeah. So, what happens in this episode, Sesame?
Well, the Sesame, the bun, we'll say that's my new nickname. Call myself the Bun.
That's just your nickname now. It's like, yo, what's up, Bun?
The Bun, or Sesame the Bun, or the Seed. You can start calling me the Seed Man. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll workshop it. But
I'm just gonna call you Whopper.
Yeah, Whopper. The Whopper says.
And by the way, Burger King, if you would like to sponsor our show, please let us know.
Or, since we're talking British here, Little Chef, if you'd like to... Isn't they call it Little Chef in Britain? Or
no, it's Burger King over there, I think.
Oh, okay.
If they have any, I don't know. Hungry Jack is what it's called in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there used to be Burger Chef, which was another... That was a... Yeah. In a future episode, we hope to like talk about like defunct fast food restaurants. Hope
totally
be of interest to people. But like
I'm still doing research. Sorry, go ahead with it.
I was like, Burger Chef was kind of something that competed with Burger King back in the day.
It's wow, because that's a great name, isn't it? Burger Chef. Versus Burger King. I think Burger King's better name than Burger Chef, but
yeah, there are Burger Kings. I was just checking. There are Burger Kings in the UK.
Okay.
So yeah. I couldn't remember. I do watch this show, and they probably covered it on there. There's this show on YouTube that I'm going to shout out just because it's called Food Wars. It's part of the what is it? Food Insider or something like that. Not Inside Her, but Inside Her.
Oh,
It isn't like it isn't about like some random woman eating food. No, it's
Oh.
or insider food, I think it is. No, it still sounds weird. It's not food insider either. Like not in like
cider,
like an apple cider or something. No.
Yeah. Gross.
But what they do is they'll compare American food to food from other countries. And they've done all like a bunch of different British, foods. Like they do like McDonald's and Domino's and all these different things, and compare like the different menus from what I just watched one today. They're doing these like foreign exchange ones where the guy that normally does, the guy from Britain who does the British ones, he comes to America and he's trying the Domino's from America, while the American guy went to Britain and tried all the Domino's stuff from Britain. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty good show. I highly recommend watching it. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research on the Wimpy's fast food establishment, which still has some locations in Britain, but its headquarters are now in South Africa. I'm not sure how that happened. I'm gonna look into how that went about, but yeah, it was founded. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about it now. Because,
stay tuned, folks. We'll Sesame will pull out his bun and wait. That sounded really bad. Everything I'm saying right now sounds like somewhat sexually innuendo.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. Sesame pull out his bun and share the seeds of wisdom.
Whether you like it or not. No, wait.
Oh God.
And anyways, what goes down in this episode of Terry and June?
Yeah. Okay. So what happens is Terry's kind of like like you said, the king of queens, kind of bumbling husband, is kind of like a fool, goofball type guy or whatever. And he's got this weird feud with his neighbor who's richer than they are. I'm pretty sure that's probably a long-standing thing.
Yeah.
He's like has like a hedging his bush to look like a peacock.
Yeah,
I guess, or something. They had this weird kind of innuendo joke about peacocks or whatever. And then I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of like a suggestive type of banter between them. And then he goes to work. He's his boss called Sir Dennis. And so I guess he's like an official sir, a knight, I guess, or something. And then
I guess, I don't know. We'll probably have to watch other episodes to find out what the backstory of Sir Dennis is.
Yeah, because they always call him Sir Dennis, and he's like his boss at some company. I don't really know exactly what the company does. And he asked all of his other employees if they would do this thing for him, and they all said no. So then they went to Terry to be the last candidate for this job, and they want him to basically like house a guy named Prince Abdul Aziz. They didn't say which country he's from. I'm assuming maybe Saudi Arabia.
They said he was Arab.
Yeah, they said one of the Arab states.
Yeah, they didn't say which one though. Yeah.
Because to them, they think all Arabs are the same and there's no differences and blah, 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 that whole British kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're an imperialist. You just assume all the conquered peoples that you've destroyed and stolen their resources from are all the same because they're just barely human beings. You're the top of the hierarchy of the human race, even though you've got the worst looking teeth out of everyone. But you're the ones that are, I get you. You're the supreme ones. Got it. Okay. Literally every other race of people looks better than you do. They're more attractive, but their food's better. But not that's okay. It's fine. It's so facto. We're not going to get into that. But anyway, so and their food tastes better too. But and so he it's got kind of the bun here scattering too many seeds all over the place. Gotta stay focused here, and the sesame needs to stay focused, and so he wants them, it's like, because the prince wants to like experience like what's like a typical British, family or people live, basically. And, everyone else said, found a good excuse to get out of it, but he didn't. It's like, all right, I'll give you 5 seconds to come up with an excuse. And then he's like, I've come up with the perfectly cogently. And he's like, okay, your 5 seconds are up. And then so he's got, and then just, of course, just all this racist stuff, like talking about, like.
I did find it funny where they said, yeah, they do not eat pork. And he's like, that's okay, we've got bacon.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, so where does your bacon come from? And then he mentions the like grocery store he bought it at or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, that was actually kind of funny. So.
And that's typical British kind of dry humor. You see that a lot.
Yeah.
In other shows, but it was still funny. I mean, I like it. I like that kind of humor when it's done right. Sometimes,
yeah.
There are some British shows I just can't stand the humor of. I just can't get into it. Like there's like people are like swear it's like the funniest thing of all time, and you gotta watch this show. Like only sophisticated people who really get really dry, sophisticated humor can understand this, bro. And I watch it, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, you can't get it, bro, because you're not smart enough, bro. And it's like, okay, bro. Like,
well, and that's the thing, though. Comedy is so subjective,
I know.
Like, I mean, people find Larry the Cable Guy funny, so.
Yep. I wonder if there's a British version of Larry the Cable Guy called, like, I don't know, like, Nigel the I don't know what you'd call it.
Nigel the Internet Technician.
Yeah, or something like that. Or Nigel I can't think of it. Yeah. But anyway, scratch this stupid political crap I came at the beginning. I was just, my banter is off today. But
oh, that's fine. Yeah.
And so sorry, audience. I apologize for that. But yeah, so he, lots of racism, talking about like, oh, the Arabs, they really want their women to be covered up, and they're super religious. And I noticed too, he said the Arabs. He didn't say Muslims, which that's just one religion of Arabs. But again, when you're conquering people,
do they even mention the word? Do they mention Muslim?
No, at one point,
one time they do. That's it. I think there's only one time that the word Muslim is said.
Yeah. But yeah, before that, he was just saying the Arabs in general. There's Christian Arabs, there's Jewish Arabs. Although there's really not too many Jewish Arabs, but there are some. There's atheist Arabs, etc. But yeah. This is the 1985 British Sir Dennis. Not exactly going to be the most forward-thinking person in that, era and class that he's in. And he's like, yeah, they don't drink, they don't eat pork, which the funny banter came with that. They want their women covered, head to toe, blah blah blah, that type of thing. Like, okay, whatever, And then and we get to the Terry's like driving the dude home, and he's like, making these comments like, oh, do you live in a small? All these houses seem really tiny or whatever. And then Terry's like, oh well, at least we don't live in tents or whatever, shit like that. And it's like, yeah, because all Arabs live in tents, like it's some fucking carrot.
Well, I do think, I mean, in defense of the show, I think the fact is that like Sir Dennis and Terry are both idiots.
Yeah, they're kind of like,
and you're putting the stupidity in the idiots' mouths, which I'm fine with. But it's when you start to have the Aziz character saying things that are kind of like racist or bigoted that I kind of have issues with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because there's like, what was it like? Yeah, because like, Prince Abdul Aziz, like he's used to living like a lavish, lifestyle, right? So he sees these small houses and he thinks like, oh wow. And so like when they get to like Terry's actual house, Prince Abdul Aziz walks across the street thinking it's his neighbor's house, the one with the peacock hedge or whatever, that's his house, and he's like, oh, this is a nice small house or whatever, and it's like this really big house, and he's like, oh no, it's like my house is actually across the street, and he's like, oh, like it's kind of like,
yeah,
I don't know, just sort of like downscale, and then they got this weird thing about why is your neighbor have cut his bush to make it look like a camel or something like that. he's like, oh, that's supposed to be a peacock or blah, blah, blah. You get it, camel, because it's Arab, camel?
Yeah.
Because there's no other animals exist in the Arab world other than camels. Even though I think camels didn't actually come from a different part of the world to begin with, that they weren't even from Arabia. Okay, no matter.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that they don't. I thought they were imported. But again, why would you know about that when you conquer all these peoples? You don't really care too much about their lives and their cultures. Why would you care about that? They're your subjects, right? Don't learn too much about your subjects, because that would make them persons. And you don't treat persons, you don't treat people badly. You only treat people who are beneath you. There aren't really people. You got to have a strict separation between subject and owner. Okay, can't be too close to them, because then you'll like them and you'll actually want to treat them well. You can't do that. Sir Dennis said so. Okay, it's the rules. And
the camel family originally evolved in North America.
So it was imported then. But when did they get imported? Because they had camels way back.
Yeah, but I mean, like the original camels, according to this, the camels, U.S. National Park Service. First evolved in North America approximately 44 million years ago.
So basically, when Earth was still one place, didn't have a separation, they must have migrated all the way to where Arabia is now.
Yeah, but I guess it's saying that they originally came from North America.
That is
according to this article I'm reading. Yeah,
that's really super interesting. Though.
Yeah, the entire Camelops species actually originated in North America. While today's camels are found throughout the desert areas in North Africa and the Middle East, scientists believe lands west of the Mississippi River were home to the world's very first camels.
Wow. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That is like super interesting. Like so it must have been before the Earth split, to different continents or whatever. Because I can't imagine, people taking camels from North America into the Arabian Peninsula, 5,000 years ago, whatever, you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because, probably not 5,000 years ago, but how horses aren't really native to the United States,
right?
And a lot of them were brought over and then became synonymous with a lot of native people. So yeah, I don't know.
Right? Yeah, it is really interesting. I'm gonna look into that too.
Yeah,
stuff like that. I get really into I'll read 8 articles, then I'll get into a new special interest. But
yes,
but anyway,
then 3 days later, you're an expert on horses.
He doesn't. I just read someone. Yeah, no, that's how my brain works. Sometimes I just get in this shit and then I stop, and then. But yeah. So the dude, he kind of trims his bush a little bit more to make it look, I guess, more like a peacock. Apparently, I don't know. And then we get our first twist in the story is, I guess Prince Abdul Aziz isn't as religious as Sir Dennis thought he was, because the first thing he wants is a drink. And wait, he's not supposed to drink. That's what, Sir Dennis said. And then he gets changed, and he's wearing a suit, because before he was wearing your stereotypical Arab prince kind of garb, with the
looking kind of like the Iron Sheik from the WWF or something,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then of course, he's very lecherous with Terry's wife, because kind of went against the whole thing. He wants her covered up. No, he actually wants her to wear something skimpy because he wants to take him out to clubs and crap like that, throughout the night. And it was kind of funny though, because that was kind of the British thing, because at first Terry's mad that his wife got to cover up a traditional Muslim woman, or at least what they thought was a traditional Muslim woman. And then when when Abdul Aziz wants her to wear something revealing, he wants her to cover up more. So it's kind of an interesting kind of it's funny. You got to, I'm not explaining.
It's a different. It's an interesting dichotomy. Yeah.
you gotta watch it yourself. It's hard for me to explain the nuance. But that was kind of a funny little thing. And I don't know what else happens, dude. I'm kind of
so they go out to a bar first. They're at a pub, and before they left the house though, he's drinking wine and stuff like that. Aziz is like, he wasn't supposed to, supposedly. And he wants June to be, skimpy clothed, and he keeps checking her out and everything. Then they get to this pub, and he puts a cigar out, and I couldn't understand where he put the cigar out, but in something of some big guy playing darts. And so Terry had been told by his boss that he needs to take if Abdul gets in trouble at all, he has to take credit for it. So he takes credit for this thing, even though he was on the phone with Sir Dennis at the point, and so then he gets his ear hit really hard by the guy. I don't know why his ear, but
yeah.
So that happens. So he takes that responsibility. Then they end up they say, well, we should probably get out of here now, because that going on. So then Abdul Aziz decides, hey, we're gonna go to a club now. So then they go to this club because he wants to pick up women. And while they're at the club, first this couple walks by, and Aziz pinches the butt of the girl walking by. And then the boyfriend asks who did it, and Terry, of course, says he did. So then he gets hit, and they have to leave that place. But now they don't leave that place. They were just hanging out there. But they, or that was maybe before. No, that was at the beginning. Yeah, but they still hang out at the club. And at one point, and this is where it gets really kind of bigoted. They're joking back and forth. Terry thinks, and Prince Abdul basically offers 50 camel or tells June that she's worth 50 camels, and then June tells Terry about this, and then he basically offers 50 camels to buy June. And then Terry's like, she's at least worth 100, and they're kind of doing this bartering for it, and negotiation here, and So Abdul acts like, oh, we got a deal for 100 camels. I'm going to buy your wife.
Right.
And yeah. So
yep.
But Terry then stands up for his wife and for himself, and he basically says, I love her. I wouldn't even sell her for 1,000,000 camels, and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
My thing is where are we going to keep these 100 camels, man? No, I'm joking.
Exactly. I mean, technically, think about it, because 50 camels could get you a lot of money. I mean, sell them, you can make, resale value. You can, they got significant resale value. You can use them for races. They got camel races, I'm
going to go off on a limb here, though.
Yeah.
This might be a controversial statement.
Yeah, I know.
But you probably shouldn't sell your wife for any kind of animal.
No, that's not. And by the way, they settled at 70 camels, so it was pretty good, not deal, but I mean, Terry was able to jump up from 50 to 70, so that shows that he's not so much of an idiot. He's a little bit intelligent. I'm not saying it was a good thing he did. I'm just saying that.
No, I know. I was just joking.
Yeah, he showed a little bit of an enterprising, spirit or entrepreneurship. But then, this is where
which impresses Aziz.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
He stands up to him and everything, and he basically, realizes that he stood up to him, and this is the guy he really wanted to meet in England. And so he decides that he's going to go forward with the deal with the company that he was brought over for. And he wanted to make it clear that it wasn't because of Sir Dennis at all. It was because of Terry.
Yes, Sir Dennis. But he said something super racist, though, at that point.
Oh, what did he say? I couldn't remember.
Terry, you are an Arab. And then Terry goes, how dare you, or something like that. I'm like, wow. What a terrible. And because he meant it as a compliment, and Terry's like, how dare you? I'm like, Jesus Christ. Wow.
Oh, boy.
Because he's because Aziz is saying
you probably shouldn't take Jesus Christ's name in vain. You should probably take Muhammad.
Well, it's true.
Muhammad's.
That was the other thing.
I'm joking.
No, that was the whole. That reminded me the whole thing with the vicar.
Oh yeah, there was a thing with the vicar earlier because like the vicar was visiting and they had to pretend that he wasn't a priest or whatever, and it's like
because it offended
because somehow
Abdul Aziz.
somehow the existence of a Christian leader would totally offend a Muslim. I don't think that's how that works.
That's what got me too, is like this idea of like, oh, he's a Muslim, so he can't stand. It's like, okay, maybe in his country, which again, I never said what country it was on, but if he was like, let's say Saudi Arabia, I don't think there's any religious minority rights, but that's within that country.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that if a Saudi Arabian person goes outside of Saudi Arabia and just assumes that country is going to go whatever the rules of his country, like that's not a thing. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like I don't know. It's like it's just to assume that the existence of a priest would offend him is just kind of weird.
This whole episode was just full of like these what you would call like quote unquote microaggressions, which again, 1985, you know you kind of have to roll with the punches with a lot of these shows. Are like you kind of just have to find a way to like them or not like them. You don't have to like them, but like just.
I mean, I'm sure that in American sitcoms at this time there was something just as racist happening too.
Well, probably worse actually in our country. I would probably think because our shows lacked that sort of sophistication a little bit of race shows did. Now, it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
We do have good shows in America. But back then, most sitcoms would be like if this episode was aired in an American sitcom, like the whole episode would just be nothing but racist jokes, like the whole way through. Like it wouldn't even be like a plot. It would just be like one joke after the other. Like,
and the smart way, I mean, they almost had it, but they didn't quite get it all the way. It was the smart way of comedy. Like Kevin Smith has said that like all the dumb things he puts in the mouths of the dumb people.
Right. Yeah.
Like Jason Mewes' characters and stuff, in his movies. It's like you put the dumb thing, so then you're pointing out the fact that there are people like that in the world that say dumb things, but they're not the ones that are the right people. It's almost like going back way back. If we take a look at the history of like the Hays Code and stuff like that back in the day, where you couldn't have your protagonist doing anything really bad, but you could have your antagonist do the bad things, and then that would basically point out the fact that smoking pot is bad because the antagonist was the one. Yeah. So that's
you can't have the. You can't have the good guy do bad things, and but I don't know. See, that's the thing too. It's like I'm kind of torn. I would have to watch the episode maybe at least one or two more times to maybe pick up on smaller nuances here and there. Because I did get because like Abdul Aziz himself is kind of I noticed all the men are kind of idiots. The only June seems to be the only character that's kind of got her head on straight.
Yeah, and I mean that was around that time too, like where that kind of thing started in sitcoms. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them in Britain and a lot in the United States too, where you got the bumbling husband and the smart wife who knows better than the husband, who's usually the star of the show, who has a crazy scheme or something going on. Yeah.
But yeah, in this episode, Abdul Aziz, he was also kind of an idiot. Sir Dennis was an idiot. Pretty much all of them, because they just like I said, if I watched it like maybe one more time, even I probably would be able to maybe appreciate even some of the racist jokes may have been subversive in their own way.
Yeah,
that I'm kind of getting into too much of being bigoted, and it might actually be.
And like I said, I think I would have respected it more if they actually had a real like Arab person playing Aziz. Also, if they kind of made, the way that the better way to present this story in a similar way would be to like maybe have Aziz be, completely real and authentic to someone like him from Saudi Arabia or something like that, and make him kind of like the one that is just being misunderstood by the British people. and make the British people the stupid ones. And that way you're not really, I don't know. I mean, even though he was a prince, you're not really punching down on a minority character in your show. Yeah.
Right, because that was the other thing too, is like they made this little comment in the beginning now when he's driving him to his house for the first time. I just remember now. And then he was talking about like, well, like we're not living here intentionally. Like, we like, love to live in like a bigger house.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, why don't you live in the bigger house? And he's like, oh, because they're all bought up by the Arabs, or then he caught himself or whatever. Stuff like, so that's like kind of that whole like conspiracy, like, oh, the Arabs own all the money, or whatever.
It would have been better to like maybe punch up at the British government, or the talk about how the housing crisis is horrible, or something of that nature, or how the pay gap in the country is bad, where CEOs are making a lot of money and someone like Terry isn't. But yeah.
But even then, it's sad because this is 1985, right, when this came out. Even then, you look at his house. His house is pretty big by normal standards today. So back then,
I mean,
that was a small house. Like,
it's. I mean, if that was considered a small house, that's like that's very much a middle class home.
But nowadays,
I mean, the house I grew up in is probably about the same size. It's like, I don't know.
So either Terry's just an ungrateful little shit, or he just doesn't know. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about the end where they end up destroying the hedge or the bush?
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever?
Yeah. Basically, they come back from the club, and they're all drunk, and because now they're friends. The prince says, "Hey, your neighbor has a prettier yard than you, or garden, as they call them in Great Britain. They call yards gardens."
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's called. Yeah, they like your it'd be your front garden and not your front yard. And they don't tend to like do what we do, like, which is stupid and horrible for the environment, where we have lawns that are just grass.
Right.
That take away from the whole point of, I don't know, where we cut them down to like, a half an inch or whatever, or a couple inches off the ground. It's just stupid. But yeah.
American lawn so much.
Yeah, there was. I watched a video recently all about the whole like lawn care industry and how much of a racket it is. So that's why I'm kind of on that little kick. I'm like, this is stupid. But
it's all. I hate cutting grass for no fucking reason. It's so stupid. Anyway.
Anyways, but the garden there, is he's got his like little peacock thing, and so he says, yeah, your neighbor's yard is prettier than yours. He can't have a better looking garden than my friend Terry. So he goes over and he finds the shears, and he cuts down the supposed peacock topiary that he has in his front yard, and then so the neighbor comes out, and he's like, which one of you is responsible for this? And Terry's about to step up and say that he is, but then the prince says, no, I am. And he says, so which ear do you want to hit me in? And then he doesn't hit him in the ear, he hits him like right in the eye, and he gives him a black eye. So then the next morning, it's gonna take him back to the airport, and the prince bought him an outfit to wear, and it's like this whole like basically like an Iron Sheik looking outfit again too. So that Terry has to wear to the airport, and and that's all funny, I guess.
Yeah, he's got like a scimitar or a sword in his belt or whatever. Which of course nowadays you couldn't bring it in airport.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think you could do that in 1985 either.
No, probably not. No.
In 1980, before 9/11, it was just a free for all. You could walk in with an AK-47 just right into the.
Totally fine.
Have a bomb strapped to your chest and get right on a plane. That's the way it was. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently. And actually, that's the other thing too. That was around the same time when there was the Libyan terrorist that bombed was it East Berlin or in Berlin or something?
Yeah, I think so.
So like even at that time, that was like dressed up like that at the airport with a sword. Probably not the
best thing.
No.
Especially when you're looking kind of like a Libyan and you're just like,
Except, I don't know, man. It just, Joe would not make it today. Like, not even close.
Speaking of like the, like airport and like the TSA thing, I was listening to this podcast and there was this like child star just talking about like advantages that celebrities would get and stuff that messed with, kids' heads and stuff, like where you basically are never told no when you got all this other stuff. And she was saying something like when I go up to TSA, they'd recognize me and just wave me right through. And that got me thinking right after she said that. I was like, how easy would it be to start a terrorist attack where you get like some kind of terrorist, they like call up a big celebrity and, somehow get them involved in their terrorism.
Like, brainwash them and just like, join the call.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, Mr. So-and-so, you can come right through. And then they just take over the plane and we got another 9/11 sort of thing.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I thought, it'd be interesting to like maybe write a movie sometime about a celebrity who just got onto a plane and took it hostage because, TSA didn't give a shit.
That would be a really good idea. It'd be kind of like, something similar happened, but not really, is when they brainwashed that, she was like the air.
Oh, like Hearst.
Yeah, but that was a little bit different because they knew she was part of it. This would be more of like a spy kind of, ish or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe he was like forced to do it or they're going to kill his family. And then they.
Yeah. So like, that's like, you should maybe delete that part so no one takes your idea.
Yeah. Don't take my idea, anybody. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first. So therefore that counts as like a copyright.
Yes.
Like Orban's copyright, podcast copyright. I don't know.
The show, the whole show is copyrighted by Cullen Park Productions. So yeah, please do not.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Trump said he could just like declassify documents by looking at them.
Yes,
we're just deciding this is copyrighted material.
Yes, we are. So, anyways, any other thoughts here about this episode?
No, not really. I would just watch it myself personally. Just give it a chance. Remember, this is a 38-year-old episode. So, there's going to be some stuff in there that's probably not kosher, for lack of a better word.
Kosher or halal.
Whatever. I don't know. Well, that's the other reminds me too. That's talking about the mispronouncing foreign words. It's they can't say now. He's gonna say salam alaikum, and then you're gonna say walaikum salam. No, it's salam alaikum.
Yeah,
and wa alaikum salam.
Yeah. I was wondering if that was mispronunciation or like just a British thing. I don't know.
Probably. But the other thing too, I'm being a stickler here, obviously, for a British 38-year-old TV episode out of 8th season of a show. The show's been around for about 5-6 years before that already, is that, if we're going to go by the whole, he's super religious and, you have to follow his customs, blah, blah, blah. Well, someone who would be as super conservative religious as what they claimed as Prince Abdul Aziz would be, would know that a fundamentalist Muslim would not say Assalamu alaikum to a non-Muslim. That's only a greeting you do to other Muslims. So unless Terry was a secret convert to Islam this entire time, which I highly doubt was the case, you would not say Assalamu alaikum. He would use some other kind of greeting. So I'm just saying, get your facts right.
What kind of greeting would he use, just out of curiosity?
I don't really know what the greeting would be. I think it would just be like kind of like hello or some kind of just
like a generic. Greeting.
Yeah, it would just be like a hello. I don't know the exact.
Yeah,
I just know, because again, I used to be in like a Muslim student organization a long time ago when I was younger, and there were some more conservative minded people in that group, and some of them would literally tell me like, don't say Assalamu alaikum to a non-Muslim, because that's only a greeting to Muslims, because I would just say that to anyone, apparently, because I thought it was some of the cool thing to say, apparently.
I've known other Muslims who do that, though. They've said it to other people, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was much saying this is more of a conservative, very fundamentalist oriented I'm just saying they were saying that Prince Abdul Aziz was one of these people, so he would be the kind of one who wouldn't say that. But like, obviously, we find out, well, he's not apparently one of those kind of people because he likes to drink weird peach wine or whatever it was that they had fermenting in their house. What was the wine, by the way? What was the flavor? It was like some weird.
I don't know. It's like a homemade wine of some sort. I don't know.
Because like they both like gagged after they drank it. It was like this like kind of face they made, and then like they apparently was really potent because they would like get like almost drunk immediately from it. So I don't know what kind of proof we're talking here, like 80 proof or some shit like that. I don't know anything about proof. I just know that bigger means better, I guess. I don't know. I'm not much of a drinker.
I've heard that the proof is in the pudding. I don't know if that means anything, but it could.
I hope the proof's not in the British pudding because I don't like British pudding at all. I think it's disgusting. But like, to me, pudding is pudding. Like, I don't like, I mean, I guess it's just a language barrier. But when I think of pudding, I think of something you could stir. You can't stir. I mean, I guess you can. It would just turn into a mush. It would just be gross looking. But so the proof would be in. I guess you could technically put the proof in British pudding if you baked it alcohol. Sorry, I'm getting too far. You baked the alcohol in, and then it became part of the pudding. And then if you ate it, kind of like how like they have rum cake or like some kind of alcohol-based desserts. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. Or since we're talking about quote the Arabs, that was the other thing too. So she's like, "Oh, I have some leftover dates from last Christmas party or something like that. And so we can, serve our guests dates for dinner because he's an Arab. So he just must eat dates for dinner. Dates are like highly sugar, practically candy. I don't think,
but those were not the kind of dates he was looking for.
No, he was looking for a very different kind of dates. Very much so. And, I mean, he might want them for dinner, but it would be a different kind of, different kind of euphemism going on there. But, well, I'm just saying, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. And, but overall, good show, good episode, fun time. Mm-hmm. I'd watch it. Just keep in mind, there's a lot of.
It's a very bigoted episode. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was funny. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Very British.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if any of our listeners are British or have watched, Terry and June in the past, and there's another episode you would recommend for us to watch, let us know, and maybe we'll cover it for a future episode. Or even if not, just let us know your history with the show. Because we're not from the UK, so we don't know. Is this thing like a huge hit over there because it lasted a long time? Are Terry and June like really big stars there? I mean, I know like Terry's no longer with us, I believe, but still, I mean, like, are they still are they considered to be like some preeminent comedians of Great Britain? I mean, I don't know. I know the show lasted a long time. I just don't know how big of stars they were. I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, just let us know. Also, another thing you can let us know is how you like our Patreon. You can go check it out. And if you like it, you can donate some money to us.
You can donate some money or some dates, but not the partners or the fruit, but rather dates as in like dates of the year. Like you just donate like a day of the year to us, I guess. And then
we'll have an official All2Real2 day, if you want to donate a day to us in your city.
Like exactly.
Give us the key to the city. Maybe
that would be good publicity for us. We can dedicate a whole day to us.
Yeah,
our show.
We'll come to your town and do a live episode or something.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to pay us to do it, but like traveling expenses and whatnot, and, stuff like that, lodging. Hey, maybe you can help us. Maybe like an Arab prince who lives here. Then like that person can then host us. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like,
or if you want us to go to the setting of Terry and June, which was where's the setting here? It's Terry and June takes place in.
I was gonna say Covington. I don't know. Making sense. I don't know.
I had it like a minute ago and I lost it. So now I'm like,
Castleberry or so. I don't know. I was trying to think of.
British town, Britain. No, purely Surrey.
There we go. Yeah.
So if you want us to come to purely Surrey, yeah, we would be more than happy to go there and talk about an episode of Terry and June.
Yeah, Terry and June, preferably at the house that they filmed the show in.
If they filmed it there, they might have filmed it.
Well, if they filmed it there, or the house across the street. That was the house is.
But it actually is a borough of London, so purely Surrey.
It is.
Yeah, so it's near London.
Surrey.
So yeah.
Is that kind of near the Isle of Wight? Because that's where David Icke lives, and I kind of want to cross the ferry to then interview him as well. Pretend to be a reptilian, like dress up as like a lizard person, and then like interview him.
You know what I just imagined. You know those big blow up dinosaur costumes?
Yeah.
Yeah, just you walking over to David Icke's house wearing one of those.
He'll probably shoot me. No, I don't think he is. But he'd probably. But see, what I would do is I would say that I'm like one of the good reptilians. Like I'm on the human side, and then I'm here to like basically like give him information about like what the other reptilians are doing, like the higher ups. Like, hey, their next plan is to pretend to be Terry and June or whatever or something like that. I don't know. And then something like that. He'd be like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, I know. By the way, can I live here with you? And, or something like that. I don't know. And then I help next book, David Icke, Guide to Reptilian Human Unity. And that's got to be the next bet for him because he's already gone through so many things. Now, the only next thing forward for him is to be like, all right, now is the time for reptilians and humans to band together to defeat the bad reptilians. And then I think he'd go for it, really. If I gave him a good sales pitch, I think he'd be like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Because he does believe some of the reptilians are good. He's mentioned it throughout his books. He doesn't dedicate a whole lot, but he does pepper throughout, like, oh, there's actually some reptilians that are actually on our side and are against the main, like the main hierarchy of the reptilians, who also almost always have Jewish names. That's just a coincidence.
So not to rain on your parade here or anything.
Sure.
This plan kind of scares me.
Why is that?
I'm just afraid of all of the sesames falling off your bun.
Yeah, see, I don't want to lose my sesame like my marbles, right? I gotta. You don't
want to be a fry short of a Happy Meal.
Exactly. I don't want to play the part so much that I become the part. You got to keep that head on straight. You got to keep the reptile head on straight, or the seed on top of the bun, Yeah.
Yes.
That's the problem when you infiltrate or become a spy. You need to make sure you know who you are because you might end up losing your part in the role. Because next thing I know, I'll just be a guy in a reptile costume all day long, hanging outside David Icke's house, never able to take it off, can't shower, can't eat. I can't go on for too long, So,
that happens.
We all have our things.
I mean,
sorry, I got off a weird rant here, but
I mean, mine is trying to I don't know, try to like overcome the whole TSA rules and become a celebrity. That's my whole rule. I want to become a celebrity so they can I don't have to wait in line at the TSA. I don't want to do anything. I just don't want to have to wait in line.
You want to wait in line. Yeah. But also at the same time, you got to make sure that you don't get recruited by a terrorist group that's trying to then use you to go into the plane.
But if it means like I can skip lines at amusement parks and the TSA and stuff like that, and maybe get into fancy restaurants really fast or something.
Why not?
And when I'm talking fancy restaurants, I'm meaning like Arby's or something.
Oh yeah, Arby's. We're not talking like McDonald's, Taco Bell here. We're talking Arby's. Upper tier.
I'm talking like maybe like they'll have a table waiting for me at Panera Bread or something. That's what I'm going for.
Like you said, the Arby's, because the Arby's has got that one place where you actually walk up the steps to sit in the booth. Oh, you're like
in the older ones, yeah. Or it depends on which Arby's you go to. The ones in my town don't have those, unfortunately.
Oh, really? Because the one to me actually has the one where you can actually walk up. You're like towering down upon like the lesser beams. Oh, yeah. Like you're only like maybe like 4 feet taller.
Like the one that we would sometimes once in a great while hang out over when we were in college together.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, good old Arby's. They've got the meats.
They got the meats, and the meats don't last very long in your body, unfortunately. they exit pretty soon because of whatever is in those meats. And
again, if Arby's would like to sponsor our show, they can too.
I just make fun of them for causing diarrhea.
Yeah. I mean, if you'd like to sponsor the show, Sesame will stop talking about diarrhea.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe just talk about it about like Taco Bell diarrhea instead. Anyways,
I'm not like James Rolfe from the Angry Video Game Nerd constantly talking about poop. I'm not that kind of thing.
Anyways, folks, we're running late here on this episode, so make sure you check out all of our social media, our X, our formerly known as Twitter, and our Threads and our TikTok and our Facebook and our TeePublic where you can buy stuff. Our Zimzams. If you can figure out what that is, go check it out.
Zimzam? That's a new website. You should come up with a no social media app called Zimzam.
Yeah, Zimzam.
And when you post something, it's called Zim.
Yeah, it's called a Zim, and it's just like TikTok. Instead of being short videos, every video has to be an hour and a half.
Yeah, it has to be by minimum. That can mean too, just replaying the same video on a loop for an hour and a half. And that counts.
And there's no ability to skip them.
Nope.
You have to sit through an hour and a half before you get to the next hour and a half video.
You're not allowed to even click it off to go on a new video. You're just stuck there for an hour and a half.
Yes.
So, it's like choose your video wisely. It makes you really think, do I want to watch this video? Because if I do, I'm stuck here for at least 90 minutes. So.
Yeah, and you can't leave where you're sitting. So like if you have a doctor's appointment or something, you're out of luck, man.
The app literally is now connected to your brain and will force you to stay put. You can't move. So
this is going to catch you on, man. It'll.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
Anyway, just remember, folks, that Terry and June love you, and so do I and Sesame, or Sesame and I, whichever is the proper English or British. Wait, what?
Or British.
Yeah. Anyways, until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.